Hey there, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach, back from Scottsdale, Arizona. Do I have a tan? Do I look like I have a tan? Because I've been in Scottsdale, Arizona for 4 days. Felt like I was there for 4 months, guys, but it was incredible, incredible. I got in front of 2,000 people. Via virtual stream. I did 4 or 5 events. I spent 2 days with Sharon Lecter. How could you be depressed in Scottsdale, Arizona, folks? But here's the deal. Today on Super Coach, I'm going to break down something that's very important because I've had a big revelation, Jack. And the big revelation is this. You hear me say all the time, you don't need more money, you need more people. But I want to add something to that. I got in front of 2,000 people in 4 days. The question then, Scott and Jimmy, is it's not, now I got the people. The question is, how well will we close the loop and follow up with those people? So today on Super Coach, in preparation for my Tuesday night webinar tomorrow night at 5 p.m., today on Super Coach, I'm going to show you how to make at least $1 million a year in your follow-up personally. And I'm going to broaden your scope on how to follow up like a pro. I'm Coach Michael Burt. I'm at the Greatness Factory, and you're watching Super Coach.
Everybody needs a coach in life. Coaching businesses and entrepreneurs like you to spike an additional 40% to your bottom line. Michael Burt is a multi-championship coach, best-selling author, trainer, motivator, and all-around super coach. Now, from the Greatness Factory Studios, this is Super Coach.
Welcome to Super Coach, folks. Every week, my goal is to bring you a podcast. You can get all of my podcasts on any podcast stream that you want, folks. Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube. All the podcasts, the verbal podcasts are there. Just go search America's Coach. And we're putting Flip the Switch, we're putting Person of Interest, we're putting any of my podcasts under America's Coach. And tomorrow night, as you know, my intention today is to expose you to something I'm doing tomorrow night that's completely free. It's around my book, $1 Million Follow-Up. It's called The Fortune is in the Follow-Up. I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million a year in an hour, in a follow-up in an hour. I'm not going to teach it to you today. I'm going to expose you to something today. Okay? And my buddy Bradley says, if I expose people to something in Las Vegas, I go to jail. Okay? But here's the deal. I'm going to expose you to a few theories to get you ready for tomorrow night's webinar. It's 5 p.m. You got to register. I'm taking maybe 200 people on that webinar, and I'm going to break down my book, $1 Million Follow-Up. That's going to get you ready for my full day, $1 Million Follow-Up on a fanatical follow-up, which is March 18th at my lodge, my beautiful 8,000 square foot lodge where I break down. And you're going to walk away that day with a 7-touch system to keep, and engage with people for follow-up. So the question is this: can you make at least $1 million a year in your follow-up? And the answer to today's question, with no suspense, is yes. Okay, so you hear me constantly say you don't need more money, you need more people. And that is true, right? The people have the money, okay? But what I've been failing to say, and this follow-up has got me thinking more about this, is that I can put you in front of 100,000 people. If you don't follow up with them, if you don't present an idea to them, if you don't solve a problem for them, if you don't help them move toward their desired outcome, if you don't engage with them, doesn't matter if you have 100,000 people. Doesn't matter that I got in front of 2,000 people out in Scottsdale, Arizona, because nobody followed up with them. How many times have you went to something that was really good? Man, I've been to stuff Tony Robbins had. Has anybody ever called me? No, never. Not one time. Would you like to come to something else? Would you like to come to this? Would you like to be involved in this? I've gone to great restaurants. I've had great meals. Nobody's ever followed up. Said, would you like to come back? Would you like to get a reservation? The manager from Jeff Ruby's actually called me last week. I'm going to follow back up with him because he called me. I don't know how he got my cell number, but he called me. This is one of the main managers at Jeff Ruby's. I should be a spokesman for Jeff Ruby's, Jack. Now, here's my point. You don't need more money, you need more people, but I want to broaden your scope a little bit because I used to think when I wrote the book $1 Million Follow-Up that it was about following up on leads, Jack. People indicated interest. You had a conversation with the person. There was some interest to do some additional business. And the follow-up was your way to secure business, right? There was a couple purposes of the follow-up: to rekindle the initial attraction, to show how you could articulate your solution to their problem, to make them stop and think, to challenge their premise some, to get them to want to do business with you. I have since stepped back and said, man, no, not every deal is a linear deal, meaning I see Doug Wood, the number one guy in Optavia, and he's already got a book, so maybe my publishing division can't help him. He's already making millions of dollars. He may not need me to be his coach. And you may say, well, that's it, man. There's no opportunity. And I would come back and say, no. What if he wants to be involved in a greatness factory in Scottsdale? What if he wants to partner on his school, Valor, online, and put my kids' academy in his kids' academy? What if, you see where I'm going with this? Like, you got to start broadening up the follow-up. Contacts ultimately could turn into contracts, folks. Networks equals net worth. And here's the deal. Like, I meet people every single day. Very few of them follow up with me. And if they do follow up with me, it's a very weak follow-up. They don't get my attention, number one. They don't keep my attention, number two. They don't present their ideas in a clear way of how they can move me toward my desired outcome. Or they don't solve a problem for me. They don't make me think. They just are random and sporadic. And so there's this random and sporadic. There's no flow. There's no frequency. So the problems in the follow-up, the reason you're not making $1 million a year with follow-up is people are in the current of the urgent. You can't get their attention. If you can't get their attention, they're basically putting you into a low-status position. They're saying you don't have anything of value to offer me. Therefore, I'm not taking your phone call. Delete, or boom, block, or boom, I'm not interested, or whatever. But I'm not interested, right? And that's just my way of saying I'm not interested by not taking your call, by not following back up, by not listening to what you have to say. So the first problem you got that I'm going to address in tomorrow night's webinar is how to get a person's attention. Right? It's not just with the phone call. There's creativity involved. There's angles involved. Everybody wants something. Don't miss this. If you can find out what they want and you can help them ascertain it or introduce them to somebody who can help it, you are then an asset, Jack. You're not a liability. You're an asset. And that's really what I want you to understand is that when you think about this, when you think about this concept of being an asset versus a liability, everybody is interested in something. All you got to do is find out what they want. And if you could help them advance, now they're going to take your phone call. Now they're going to listen to your message. Now they're going to be interested in what you have. Now they're going to take the meeting. Right, Stephanie Lynn? So when you think about this concept of the first problem, there's 4 problems I'm going to address tomorrow night in the webinar. Number 1, we're living in the current of the urgent. And the current of the urgent is we're busy, we're singularly focused, we're moving in a direction, we're not paying attention. And if you think people pay attention, folks, just run a coaching program where you're coaching 600 to 1,000 people. They don't pay attention to the emails, they don't pay attention to the phone calls, they don't pay attention to the text messages. They don't pay attention to anything. People don't pay attention to anything. They're in the current of the urgent. So you could do one of 2 things. You could jump right in front of them, Lisa, and you could say, look at me, and look at how important I am, and look at what I have to offer. Or you could get in the boat with them, and there's a flow and frequency, and you're in there with them, helping them advance their ball down the field toward their desired outcome. Remember that. When you follow up with people, you're helping them move the ball down the field toward their desired outcome, right? So number 1, they're in the current of the urgent. Number 2, you don't have their full attention. Right? And when you try to pitch ideas to people, when you don't have their full attention, they are distracted. The word distract means to pull apart. People are pulled apart. They're pulled in so many different directions. And because of that, you don't have their attention. Because you don't have their attention, they're not interested in your solution. They got too many ideas. There's too many things coming at them. So number 2 problem, you don't have their attention. And we're going to talk about tomorrow night in my webinar, how do you get someone's attention? A lot of it has to do with your person of interest score, which is why I wrote the book Person of Interest. So you could actually combo my book Person of Interest and $1 Million Follow-Up, because the higher your status is, the less follow-up you got to do. People take the call. People answer the text message. People are interested. Okay? Number 3 problem that we got to solve in this webinar tomorrow night is you can't articulate 2 things, Jimmy. or Corey Levine, you can't articulate two things. Number one, how you can solve a problem for me. Money is exchanged when problems are solved. Okay? And if you can't articulate the problem you're solving and how you are uniquely qualified to solve it. See, lots of people can sell insurance. Lots of people can do mortgages. Lots of people can sell houses. Lots of people can be a coach. But why can you solve the problem in a unique way? Can you do it with speed? Can you do it with energy? Can you do it with a positive posture? Do you bring a good attitude? Do you bring connections? Do you bring here's an old school word for you folks, a Rolodex with you where there's introductions, right? So you either can't articulate how you can solve a problem in a unique way, or you can't present an opportunity to another person in such a way that it has their attention. In any given day, I am presented all kinds of deals, opportunities, real estate plays, joint ventures, partnerships. Everybody's pitching me in some way something, right? Most people do a very poor job. It's like after I meet with you, I'm unclear on how you can help me reach my desired outcome. I'm unclear in how your past can help me reach my desired outcome. I'm unclear, like you're not good at pitching it. We did explanation of service last week, and it was powerful, wasn't it, Jack? What do you believe? Why do you believe it? What do you do? How do you do it different? Who have you done it for? And if could you do it for me? And how does it work if I partner with you? See, that's called friction. Friction is where it's too complicated, guys. So number 3 is you can't articulate how you can solve a problem in a unique way, or you're unclear in presenting an opportunity to another person so they don't pay attention. And the 4th one is you just don't go the distance, right? So I'm going to close this segment, come back in one more segment. Remember, you don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. Contacts, contracts, present ideas, solve problems, help people move toward their dominant focus. And the big takeaway for me, Jack, in this session was something that was said to me at lunch, which was everybody wants something. Even wealthy people, because I was talking about how difficult it is to negotiate with very wealthy people. Even wealthy people want something. And if you can find out what they want and help them achieve it, you are an asset. They will take your phone call. You bring something to the table. Now, if you don't go the distance, I could put you in front of 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 500,000 people. But you don't follow up. Like I'm thinking about when I spoke at 10X, 10,000 people. I should have captured every person's information. I should have been following up with them for years. I should have been, right, have a hold to sell. Even if we had to subcontract it for a while, subcontract salespeople to work all the leads and all the business and all the people. See, I just didn't know. Hey, but when we know better, we do better. Okay, and today I'm teaching you how to know better, folks. I'm teaching you how to get in the game. If you haven't signed up for my webinar tomorrow night on follow-up, it's costing you $1 million. Guarantee it. Because you don't need millions of people to make millions of dollars. You can make millions of dollars with the right 25 people, folks, if you just learn to follow up. Now, when you come back from the break, I'm going to show you some stats, and I'm going to show you how to think a different way about the follow-up. The follow-up is about opportunity. It's about presenting opportunity and helping people toward their desired outcomes. That's the purpose of the follow-up. So come on back in segment 2. I'm Coach Michael Burt. I'm here at the Greatness Factory, and you are watching Super Coach. Over the last 15 to 20 years, I've coached thousands of business people. I have determined that there are 6 big missing structures. They do not have the prey drive activated, which means they've got into a static position, bored, complacent, in a rut. They just don't have the get up and go. And so there's a constant cycle of activating and reactivating your drive to want to go out there and make sales calls and grow and expand, and that can go dormant. It typically becomes dormant when you have some level of success and you get comfortable. And once you get comfortable, right, so that's a big missing structure. I also believe a missing structure is an explanation of service, which is what we're going to talk about today. You do not have a world-class way to explain your value. Welcome back to Super Coach. I'm Coach Michael Burt. I'm here at the Greatness Factory. Thanks to all the people in Scottsdale. What an amazing experience. 2 days with Sharon Lecter at Publishing Retreat. I may have had one of the most impactful dinners on Saturday night I have ever been a part of. People shared their stories of transformation. People cried. People laughed. Man, it reminded me the importance of bringing people together in intimate settings and having dinner and doing what, Carrie Chandler? Following up like a machine. The purpose of the follow-up, folks. It's one thing to get people together, have a moment that could change their life or change your life or touched you in a deep way. It's another thing to go back and say, let me present an opportunity to you. Let me solve a problem for you. So, yes, tomorrow night's on Zoom. I will record that. I would really like for you to be there live if you could. It's at 5 p.m. Central Standard. I'll be here in this studio, and I'm going to be breaking down the $1 million follow-up concept. And really, tomorrow night's how to make $1 million per year in 1 hour without changing your sales system, without adding so many things to the system. It's just getting better at something. So today, the topic of today's show is how to make $1 million a year with your follow-up. Number one, do you even think it's possible? One deal could bring in $1 million, folks. You could sell 1,000 people something at what? $1, Jack? Is that $1 million bucks? No, excuse me, 1 million people at $1. There could be 2,000 Optavia coaches that were with me the other night take advantage of a $97 offer, right? That's $200,000, folks. You're almost 1/4 of the way to the $1 million if you just know how to follow up. So in today's show, I'm showing you this is how you do it. I wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. March 18th, I'm doing a full day at my lodge. If you want to be in the room with me, just reach out to Eric White. I'm putting 25 to 50 people live in the room with me, PBS special style, baby. We're going to get in that room, and I'm going to coach my little butt off all day long. I'm going to bring significant value. And when you walk out of there that day, you will have a system, 7-touch system to get people's attention, keep their attention, articulate your value, overcome objections. Woo, it's going to be good. Okay? And then bring people to a decision. And in the South, we say decide, Jack. When I go around the country, I say decide. The word decide, it's 2 syllables. Not decide. Decide is 2 syllables, but the way you say it in the South is we got to decide. We got to decide. That means to kill off. How do you bring a person to a decision? I talk about this in the book $1 Million Follow-Up. I think you can get that book for free at CoachBurt.com. You pay $9.99 for the shipping and handling. And if you're too cheap to pay $9.99, then you're not serious about follow-up, folks, because people have told me they've made millions of dollars from that little book that's got a big impact. Now, there's a science to this. I like to codify things. That's what a good coach does. They break it down. My whole objective is to help you reach a desired outcome. Make more money, get better at life, do something at a higher frequency. Surely to goodness, something I say during the show, it helps you to think clearer about your follow-up, to think why you need a coach in your life. Okay, this is one part of a 6-step system. There's 6 parts of my system. The follow-up is part number 4. So when you're thinking about this follow-up, here's some of the stats you need to remember. Less than 9% of people will ever remember their salesperson's name after the transaction. That's how, hey, you were so impactful, I forgot your name. Hey, you moved the ball in my life. You moved a statistic in my life so much, I forgot your name. Okay? Number 2, I put X% do not answer the phone. I'd love for somebody to put a stat in here on the percentage of people that you think actually answer the phone today. So if the only thing you use is the phone, you're not creative, you don't bring any energy, you don't have anything of value, you just calling people, folks, and saying, hey, well, they don't answer the phone, so I'm not hitting my sales numbers. Well, guess what, folks? We live in a world where people don't answer the phone. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok, you got whatever. Send a pigeon. Figure it out, man, because you can't use that excuse. I would say 90% of people don't answer the phone or see you as adding any kind of value, so they just don't take your phone call. I could get billionaires on the phone today if I needed to. I can get multimillionaires. I can get some of the top people in the world on the phone today because I create value for people. Okay, so if you're not getting them on the phone, that's their kind of backhanded way of telling you, you don't create any value for me. Number 3, this is what I based the whole book on. It takes 7 to 15 touches, 80% of the time, to convert a prospect to a client. If you're not going 7 touches, right, Frank? If you're not going 7 touches, Paul, if you're not going, like people present ideas to me and then I never see them again, Jack, never. Where did they go? They had an idea, they wanted to sell me something, and then I never see them again, or they get their feelings hurt, which is even worse. Okay, you can't, this is a non-emotional, man. Their feelings many times has nothing to do with you. What they're going through in their life has nothing to do with you. If they're rude, if they're short, if they're emotional, you don't have to be emotional. I was scripted by Covey. Covey taught between stimulus and response is a space. Somebody's having a bad day. If I'm talking to somebody, listen, I called a woman the other day to thank her for doing something for me. She cried the whole phone call, Jack. She was so appreciative. I can't believe you called me. Can't believe you took time out of your day. I've had a terrible time. You don't know what it means to me for you to just call me and thank me for this. I mean, it was just a simple phone call. But for her, made her whole day. She's apparently been going through, I didn't know this woman, by the way, a rough time and just a little positivity. I said, I want to thank you. I'm Coach Burt, and I want to thank you for doing something for me that you didn't have to do. But you did it, and you made my day, and you helped me a lot, and that means the world to me. So thank you for doing it for me. She cried the whole time. Now, here's the deal. Her emotions got nothing to do with me. I call somebody today, they're rude. So here's what I say. Seems like you're having a bad day. Is everything okay? Seems like your energy's a little bit low. Seems like you're going through something. Can I help you? It's not personal, man. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals don't listen to their feelings. So there's 2 real problems in the follow-up, Jack. One problem is you don't go the distance. You're not going 7 to 15 touches. Some people are out there going, I go 7. I've followed up with Coach Burt 7 times. Well, if I haven't taken action, it's because you hadn't created enough value. So there's a fear. Fear breeds uncertainty, doubt, vacillation. Guess what? You're not clear in your offer. I don't know how you can help me. You're not helping me towards some desired outcome that I have in my life. I don't think it's important. It's not a priority right now. So remember this. It's got to be simple. This is from Jill Conrath, the book I read many years ago. It's got to be simple, man. Your offer's got to be simple. I do X and it produces Y. I typically like to say there's X cost, there's Y value, and there's Z return. Right? Here's how much it costs. Here's what it's going to do. And here's the outcome that it's going to produce. Now, is this something you'd like to do? Does it seem like you'd like to move forward with me? So when it comes to the follow-up, it's got to be simple. It's got to be invaluable. That means it's got to be a must-have versus a nice-to-have. At some point in everyone's life, we leave our amateur desires behind and we make a decision to go pro. And when we make that decision to go pro, it's at how we follow up on opportunity. So I come into the day, Jack, from my Scottsdale trip. I'm just going to show you. I had at least follow-ups. I'm going to say at least 30. There's 2,000 people for me to follow up with, but I have at least 30 on here specific follow-ups to come back to. So when you think about this, I'm going to go back to my follow-up notes. Okay, fortune's in the follow-up. It's got to be simple. It's got to be invaluable. It's got to be aligned. This is very important. This goes back to something I said early in the presentation, Carrie. You got to know what people want. And when you know what they want, it's your offer is in alignment with their need. Money changes hands when problems are solved or opportunities are presented that helps them move toward their dominant focus. Even wealthy people have wants and desires. So some people say, there's no way to follow up with them. I'll never get their business. No, that's a consideration. And a consideration is an internal thought that prohibits an external action. I'm sitting at dinner with Sharon Lecter in Scottsdale 6 months ago. We sit down at dinner when we're first getting to know each other, and she asks a simple question. What do you want to do? See, once you know what a person wants to do, then you can help them do it, right? It's a big question to ask. What do you want to do? What are you trying to do? If I was doing a strategy session with you today, I asked a simple question. What are you trying to do? And then I decide how I can help you do it. And I may not be able to help you do it, and that's okay. So it's got to be simple. It's got to be invaluable. It's got to be aligned. And, I'm going to finish on this one. It's got to be a priority. You're pitching things to people, and it's not a priority to them. It's like me pitching Monster Health to a person that don't want to lose weight, don't want to get in better shape, don't want to have more energy. I can pitch them all day long. I can share my story all day long of losing 30 pounds and having more confidence and looking like $1 million and feeling like $1 million. But unless they want it, It don't matter, folks, because it's not a priority. So I ask a simple question on a scale of 1 to 10. How serious are you about this? How serious are you about doing this? And how fast do you want to do it? And how much of a priority is it in your life? Because it's going to take a commitment. It ain't going to be easy. But if you're serious and you're willing to back your creativity up with the financial commitment and time and energy, I'm in, man. I'm here to help you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? See, when I get on the phone with a person, when I call a person, I say, man, you quit flirting with me. Quit sales flirting with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about getting better? Because I only work with serious people. Now, if you're not ready for me, it's okay. Let me give you the phone number of a startup coach, Larry the life coach, Jack. And Larry's got some clients, and he's a lot cheaper than Coach Bird is. Okay? And I can put you in touch with Larry right now. I can't guarantee that he's any good, but I will sure put you in touch with him. Now, here's the deal, folks. Here's my offer today to you. Okay, I'm going to do a free webinar. I'm going to go into much more granular detail tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's a free webinar. It's complimentary. I love teaching people. I love breaking down my books. We're gonna give that to you at no cost. Right? We're going to just give it to you. So if you're out there in the world and you're interested in joining me, let me break it down. I'm going to teach you how to make millions of dollars in the follow-up. I'm going to break down a little bit of a system. I'm going to go deeper into the purpose of the follow-up. I'm going to show you how I challenge people in the follow-up, and I'm going to give you some of my closes that I use to follow people up. So that's tomorrow night. Eric White can post it in the links. We would love to have you there. We believe everybody needs a coach. We believe a good coach can change your life. And more importantly, we believe a good coach can help you increase your financial future at a ridiculous level. People come to me because they need more confidence, they need more structure, they need more discipline, they need a system and a plan, they need a methodology, and that's what we provide for our Monster Nation. Okay, there's 650 people in Monster Producer right now. That number will be 1,000 by the end of this year. And we probably had 200 to 300 people sign up for my 4-week mentoring from Optavia this week in Scottsdale. We've got people signing up like crazy for everything that we're doing because guess what, folks? We provide real value. That's what we do. We coach people to improving their financial futures. We coach people in how to play at a higher frequency. So tomorrow night, doesn't cost you anything other than time, folks. So if you want to join me for 45 minutes, 5 to 5:45, I'll be here at the Greatness Factory. I'm going to be breaking down $1 million follow-up, how to make millions of dollars in the follow-up without changing anything in your sales system, and I'm going to do it in 1 hour. Imagine that. Follow-up is bigger than on leads, folks. Follow-up is on all the opportunity, all of the people. What's up, Clayton Whitaker? All of the opportunity, all of the people, all of the possibility. There is no shortage of money, opportunity. There is only a shortage of confidence and courage and creation. So go back and listen to this podcast. YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Listen to my podcast, Under America's Coach. We believe everybody needs a coach in life. We're going to see you tomorrow night on the $1 million follow-up. And then I'm going to see you the 18th on Fanatical Follow-Up, 1 full day with me on follow-up. I'm really excited about that because we're going to help a lot of people improve their financial situation on that day. I'm Coach Michael Burt. You guys have an incredible day. I'm Coach Michael Burt. I just finished a session on the explanation of service, and this is such a big concept. It's really a clarifying journey to get clear on what you believe, why you believe it, what you do, why you do it, how you do it different than other people, who you've done it for. It's a game changer. And today I wanted to drive home to my Monster Producer, the Monster Nation, that you don't want to do business with other people that don't believe the same things you do. It will create conflict and heartache in your life. Spend the time on the front end getting clear on what you believe, what they believe, why you believe it, what you do as a result. And know this, you're only looking for people that are looking for you. You don't have to convince and manipulate. Go out into the marketplace, share what you believe, and see who believes it too. That's who you want to do business with.